Child Advocates of San Antonio, also known as CASA, work with volunteers to help guide local children in the welfare system, advocating for what's in the best interests of the child. And unfortunately, right now, the need for CASA services are great. Eyewitness News reporter Vanessa Croy spoke with CASA about their upcoming event and how you can help out as well.
Child Advocates of San Antonio said they have seen a 50% increase in referrals.
As they got back into school this fall, we started seeing more cases of suspected child abuse reported.
CASA's VP of Development, Blair Ortman, said some of the cases are severe neglect and abuse.
Having a volunteer advocate on the case really allows for another trusted, highly trained community member to really keep their eyes on these kids and make sure that the judges and the attorneys and CPS just has another partner to work with to make sure that these children have the best care and are getting all of their needs met.
Now, it costs around $1,500 to provide an advocate for a child for a year. And now fundraising efforts are needed more than ever. CASA is taking their annual gala to a virtual platform this year. The Gallery of Hope Ungala will be auctioning off 11 original pieces of art created by children who are in the CASA program.
All of the kids wrote a little description about the artwork and about how they were feeling when they created the art. Art is a great way for children to really find positive self-expression.
A personalized piece of art with a unique story behind each one. All to support kids who may be lost find help. Vanessa Croy, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Now, CASA is always looking for volunteers to be advocates, especially now with their heavy caseload. If you would like to help out or check out the silent auction, all that information is on our website at kens5.com.